Okay, I'm going to do a video here to show you guys my technique on how I install the skin. Everybody might have a different way, but this is just how I do it. I've been doing this for many years, so probably best to take my advice on this, but you might have your own way, and that's totally fine. I always start with the front skin first. That way I can kind of line up the top better to match the front. So basically, it might be a little hard to do with one hand here on camera, but you want to line it up as good as you can. It's gonna be really tough for me with one hand. See if I get lucky. Not even close. Here, let's see if I can hold this one hand. Alright, so I have it where I want it to be. Now don't panic, don't worry if things touch the edges. It's no big deal. This stuff you can pull back. You can work with it. It's not a permanent sticker. What you want to do is you want to work with the center. Basically you want to work with your finger. You want to kind of massage these little wrinkles out. Just carefully. You don't have to press really hard. Just work out to the edges. Basically you want to get as much of the center installed as possible and then just leave the edges. And I'll show you why. There you go. Getting as close as I can to the edge. The center is almost done. Alright, now that I have the edges, I could technically use my finger and work all these out and make it perfect. It'll take a lot more time. But to speed things up, use a blow dryer. Heat it up. You don't have to heat it up too long. Maybe that was what, 10 seconds if that. Now watch. Smooth as can be. This top section is done. Let's do the side. This side. See, they call these fingers in the vinyl industry. Basically, if you try to squeegee that without heat, it'll probably wrinkle up right there. So basically you want to give it some heat so it just forms to the curves. Sorry if you guys hear a lot of background noise. I got my printer going back here. Alright, so that front piece is completely installed and ready. Now let's do the top. As you've probably seen in my pictures, I don't have this graphic up against that first line. I don't install it all the way to the front. I install it more back. So what I do is I line up this little sensor here. Try to make it evenly across to that little sensor. So now basically I have this little line here. I got about this much of a gap, the same size gap on both sides, from this sticker to this crease to this sticker to this crease. And now you just take your thumb and you're squeezing it down by hand. Super easy. Don't need any heat. Do the edges. Top piece is done. And the bottom piece can be a little tricky for someone starting out doing this for the first time. Basically, what I do is I'll try to do this with holding it up if I can. I try to do just the center first, exactly where I want it. That looks off a little bit. It's gonna be tough. Okay, so let's say this is where I want it. Let me move my camera down a little. Hopefully you guys can see this. Work with this side first. You get a little room to move it back and forth. So I'm just kind of putting it where I want it. barely pressing down at all with my thumb. Just the weight of my thumb. I'm pressing down. That's it. Now I could make this even fit better. You know, I could work with this for a little bit longer and make it a perfect fit. But it's pretty good. So let's do this side. Let's see right there. Move this out of the way. Now this piece is done. So now you have a full wrap. What you want to do is when you're done, take some heat. What that is doing, it's kind of setting the memory of this vinyl to be this shape. So it probably won't start coming off. I mean, the edges can start coming up a little bit over time, and then you just take some heat and fix it, and then eventually it won't do it no more. But this is the finished product. I hope you guys like it. That's how I install my skins.